Let's go.
Hey, we are back. This would be a Tuesday night with Ben Stowe, but Ben Stowe is the hardest working man in the business. So when you can't get Ben, you go with the next best person, and that is Kyle. Good evening, Kyle.
Good evening, John. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. So
fantastic.
This is like a Kyle sandwich. We have Kyle last week, then there's the Nam, and now we have Kyle this week.
Absolutely.
This is
getting excited for it.
This is good. Now you were down. I mean, when we talked last week, you were getting ready, hitting the plane the next day, and you were headed down to Anaheim.
Absolutely. It was crazy. So NAMM for us is a crazy packed show. There's lots of new things coming out, which we're going to talk about. There's really a lot of cool announcements, all that sort of thing. But then just also, gives us a great time to talk to a lot of our manufacturer partners to get better, relationships with them to keep getting you guys better and better deals on stuff that you might get from us. So yeah, NAMM's a really important show for us. And I had a great time. It was really packed 3 days, but it was fun.
Nice. Very nice. And probably the most impressive part of it is I've been to NAMM and in many shows in the Southwest, and it never fails that when we come back specifically from NAMM, that the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday afterwards, I'm usually feeling pretty cruddy. So I'm really, really impressed that you sound good, you look good. That's your vitamin C was working for you.
Yeah, it was. The looking good, I think that's subjective. Some other people out there might disagree with you a little bit on that, but no, I last year was my first year going to NAMM, and I was lovingly introduced to Kat. With everybody comes back with what they called Nanthrax.
Yep.
And luckily I didn't get it last year. My throat did hurt a little bit this morning, so I was a little worried that it was gonna
kick in,
be that, but. I think it was more just it was very dry in our room last night, and so, but it's been going good, and so hopefully it keeps holding out, and I keep being well. So
nice, excellent. That's good for you. Good for you. So let's kind of dive into it. You got down there. Yeah. It opens Thursday morning, but I think you guys actually did you get in on a little bit on Wednesday night already?
Yeah, we got in on Wednesday. We tried to get into the show. We tried to sneak in with one of our manufacturer partners, but. Unfortunately, they weren't able to get us in a little early because we were going to try to do a couple of sneak peek things. But no, so we got up bright and early on Thursday morning and hit the floor with everybody else. There's some pretty crazy announcements. Obviously, we talked, last week, kind of the big hubbub was what is EV going to announce?
Yep.
And, I think my personal opinion, I think they kind of knocked it out of the park. Obviously, people have been asking for something bigger in the Evolve line for a few years now, and with that new 70 and 90, I got to hear them firsthand. Got to be around with them. Got to do demos, the whole thing, and they're kind of everything they're cracked up to be.
Nice.
They're pretty impressive.
Nice, a good big brother to the Evolve 50, which a lot of us use week in and week out.
Absolutely. I mean, we were just. There was actually a customer who bought a set of Evolve 50s today from us. So, they're still a really popular speaker. And I don't think that's going to change because, like Ben's famous quote, you got to have the right rig for the gig.
Yeah.
And, if you're doing if you're doing small parties of 70 people, you don't need the 70 or the 90. You can use the 12 and it's still going to sound fantastic for you. Mm-hmm. So, that was, I think, the thing that I like the most about the 70s and 90s is they didn't lose that. What I call like the Evolve sound.
Sure.
The highs and the vocals on those to me are very, very good. Some of the best in the business as far as column arrays, again, to my ear. And they didn't lose that. They didn't kind of fall into, well, let's just go for it and make it, as loud and crazy as possible. They made sure to stay true to that EV sound, and I think they knocked it out of the park, like I said.
Nice. And I'm guessing, I didn't see a ton of pictures. I just haven't been looking. I've been busy. But did the EV have their sound room where Jeremy Breck did the lighting and had this whole experience again?
Oh yeah, it was quite an experience. It was definitely a product launch. Nice. They really hit it hard. They had a lot of demos out so people could look at them. Didn't really have to kind of, sometimes you see when people are launching new speakers, that we have 2 of them, and then everybody has to go and see those. Mm-hmm. But they were pretty smart. They had a set of them outside, right outside the demo room, so everybody could kind of come and look. And they're on turning pedestals and everything like that. I shot a video with Paul Heyerdahl from EV. on those. So if you want to check that out, you can head over to our YouTube page. Check that out. I think we posted on Facebook and stuff too. And then also, when you went inside, they had just a kind of, not ones that weren't on along a wall that you could see the whole Evolve line from the 30 all the way up to the 90. And then they had the ones on the sound wall that they were actually doing sound tests with.
Nice.
And the nice part is that they use the pair, so you could kind of get the full immersion of it and not just one. And yeah, it was really good. It was, a face forward demo of really what they could do. So.
And of course, that's just one of the booths you visited at the show. There's a lot. I mean,
there was quite a few different ones. Yeah. So another one that we stopped at was ADJ, and this is another video that I shot. I didn't shoot a ton of videos, unfortunately, because, like I said, we were pretty jam packed and going back to back, and unfortunately just didn't have a ton of time at each one. ADJ is another booth that I went to, and they have something coming out that I think would be really cool. You'll be able to see it at the MEX show in Las Vegas in just a few weeks. They're going to be there partnering with us for lighting. It's kind of like a digital signage.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
I shot a little video with it, and it's really cool. They're working on trying to make a little video wall, kind of like an eye poster, and making it very portable and useful for anybody wanting to do them with. I think about using them at obviously like bridal shows and things like that, but you could also really use them at your weddings to put on, if you want to have all your guest list on there for table assignments, or hey, this is what's going on for the evening, all that sort of thing. They're nice high quality video panels, and it all kind of breaks down into a easy transport unit. And so I think those are going to be really cool. And if they didn't tell me exact pricing yet, they gave me kind of ballparks. But we will have that by the time they come to MEX. If it's close to what they're talking about, I think it'll be really competitive and really attractive to a lot of people.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah, that definitely had, as I was looking at that, it's like, ooh, you start putting out things through your head of as far as, okay, how could I utilize that? That could be cool and do this, do that. So yeah, that looked
absolutely. And we were thinking the same thing, like, hey, how can we get some of these and use these for us? Like when we go to trade shows, how can we use these?
Yeah, they definitely had that.
Yeah, so I think it'll be really cool. And again, they're going to have different levels of it, so you can have if you don't need one that's quite as sharp, quite as detailed, you can get a little lower quality. You can get really great quality, video mapping and all that sort of thing. So
yeah, because
I think they'll be really.
Was it a
really
1.9 millimeter?
Yeah, the one that I had is a 1.9. They also talked about doing a 2. They have a 2.9 also.
A little bit lower resolution. Yeah. So.
Yeah, so I don't know if they're gonna at some point do higher or lower quality. Just kind of depending on what they decide to do. And again, we don't know all the full details on it because they're just kind of launching it and showing it off. And they were nice enough to do that video with us real quick, and we're really excited to have it at NAMM. So make sure, or not at NAMM, I apologize, at MEX.
MEX, yeah.
Saw it at NAMM, can have it at MEX. So definitely make sure to stop by our booth if you're going to be out there to take a look at them.
Yeah, excellent. What else did you see?
For sure.
Because again, you were there, so you're I'm vicariously living through you here, Kyle. So
absolutely, for sure. So for sure. Actually, another speaker thing is, I finally got to see and hear, live and in person, the QSC, the KC12, kind of the competitor to the Evolve 50, that actually won Best of Show at NAMM. So a lot of people were very impressed with it. It's very good size. I'm the same way, but I kind of think the same thing with the Evolves, just because I'm a tall person. Wish it was a little taller.
Sure.
Most people are shorter than me. Those of you who don't know, I'm 6'6", so I stand fairly tall against most speakers. And that was actually one thing that was a little crazy about the Evolve 90s. They're about 14 inches taller than I am.
Yeah.
So they get up nice and tall, and kind of make me look a little goofy in comparison, actually. So but the QSC was really good. There was a ton of people who were in there for the demos. A lot of people really liked them. There was a lot of different people who were showing off like microphones and keyboards and drum kits and all that sort of thing around NAMM that were using them as their speakers.
Nice.
So it was a really big hit. And obviously, just like with the Evolves, if you want to get a pair, reach out to us at NLFX. We'd be happy to send you a quote on them. So that was another thing that like I said, got hands on, was able to hear. And again, it's another really great option that you can have in that space. If you're not a fan of EV or not a fan of RCF, you're a big QSC fan, which I know there's a lot of them out there.
A lot, yeah.
Just because I know that we still sell K12.2s and everything. So if that's something that you're looking for, we definitely have. Definitely worth taking a look at for sure.
And I think that's a kind of an important thing, I think, nowadays when it comes to gear, is because there's quality gear. Most of the companies out there are producing quality gear. And if you've been a lifelong fan, it's kind of nice that you can continue to be that loyal lifelong fan for QSC or Electro Voice or whoever, because they're creating gear in areas in which would be beneficial to your business. So when I came out with those, and some people were like, "Oh, that's going to be a killer for X, Y, and Z speakers." No, because many companies have brought out these little mini array systems, and Bose, who was one of the first ones, they still sell. They're still selling their stuff out there because there's Bose fans.
Absolutely.
So it's not like you got to, well, this is going to kill that. No. It's going to serve the people who love that brand. It's here to serve them.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something that I talk to our customers about all the time when they call in. People don't think that it is, but sound is a very personal choice. There are some people who really love the voicing of RCF, of an LD Systems, of EV, of QSC. And what I say to that is there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
If that's what your ear is happy to hear and it pleases what you're doing, then that's exactly what you should go with, because you're the one who has to listen to it all the time. There are going to be, how do I say, normies out there who, when we play on our Evolve 50s or our 90s or our QSC KC12s, things like that don't like it. But most everybody else is going to be like, "Oh, hey, this is fantastic. This is great," because it's 1,000 times better than all the speakers that they have at their house. Yeah. So it is really a personal choice, and there's nothing wrong with that. So, if somebody calls in and, because even, DAS Audio, they have their Alta Duo 20s and 10s. Those are also a great speaker if that's what you're looking for. Hey, you know what? I really like the DAS Audio sound. Cool. We got an option for you. So I think that's really great that everybody keeps continuing to bring stuff out and continuing to kind of push the boundary.
Yeah.
Because the QSC, hey, you know what? It goes a little louder. It goes a little deeper than the Evolve, than the Evolve 50, all those sort of things. So it's just, technology moves ever forward.
It does, which is good for us as the end user, because we can, we're getting better quality gear, today's gear compared to even 5 years ago.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, how it's changed. Okay, What do we got next? What else?
So kind of unofficial, official. In music, I saw some people out there talking about a Rain 1 Mark II.
Yeah, I've heard a little
coming out. They weren't sure if they were going to launch it, and as a matter of fact, I don't think it's officially launched yet. But they kind of decided to let everybody kind of see it on day 2. They didn't on day 1.
Oh, interesting.
But then they just kind of made a decision far out. They're like, you know what? Let's just create some buzz behind it and all that sort of thing. And it looks really cool for anybody who likes the Rain platforms. The way it sounds, and again, nothing is official because it's still a prototype. The pictures of the ones that you've seen floating on the internet, as far as I'm aware, it's the only working one they have. So it's very beta, but it sounds like they want to do something later this year with it. And it's bringing a lot of the stuff, from what I'm understanding from the Performer that they put out earlier this year. They're bringing in some of the upgraded faders and things like that, more upgraded stems, all that sort of thing. So it looks like it could be a really cool option for anybody who really likes that Rain 1 platform but is looking for something a little bit different. Again, we didn't get a whole lot of time with it because it got bamboozled pretty quick when we were there because everybody wanted to see it.
Oh, I'm sure.
But It was a really cool. It was a really cool release. I think that's going to be coming in. I don't have a timeline or anything yet. They just kind of said, hey, we're just going to show it off and kind of gauge people's reaction. So
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool.
Nice, nice. So in music, the last time I was at NAMM, which was a number of years ago, they weren't there, so it was kind of a bummer. But in music is one of the companies a lot of people ask about because of the having many companies, Rain and Denon and others under that. Did they have any other of their brands on display there?
They did. They have so there's another one of their brands called Moog. So they're really into like digital synths and things like that. And part of what they do is try to bring back some of the older stuff that has been around for a while, but trying to figure out a way to make it a little less expensive.
Sure.
There are some things that they showed us that I can't talk about, but there are some really cool things coming from Moog. Again, we don't know timelines or anything like that, but anybody who's into that world, I think it'll be really cool. And again, if everything is accurate, I think it'll be very attainable for most people in that space. So I really hope that that's something that they really continue to work on and, are able to bring it out, which would be really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else from End Music?
Yeah. So there was also, so another one from In Music is Head Rush. They do a lot of stuff with guitars and guitar pedals and amps and all that sort of thing. And they had a new pedal board that is kind of all internal, but you can have lots of different switches and everything like that. I'm so sorry, the name escapes me at this time, but they have a nice big like full version and then like a little small step down version for just using at home and things like that. Which again, I think would be really cool for anybody who's really into guitars and pedals and all that. And then they have also a very small little speaker to kind of plug your. It's not an amplifier per se, but you can plug your either electric or acoustic guitar into it, and it will play through there. So it's another really cool thing that they have, and it's very small and very travel friendly. So that's another really cool thing that I saw from them this year.
Nice, very nice. Yeah, the going to the In Music booth, whether it's at a convention or whatever, it's always kind of fun because there's such a variety of things that they have.
Yeah, really. If you're into anything music, they have something that can obviously in music. Yeah. If you're doing anything, with music, there really is something that they have to offer, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Next, what booth should we head to next year?
Oh, I'm trying to think here. Let me pull up my list of all the different vendors that we went to, and I can kind of talk through. Sorry, my brain isn't braining yet. Yeah, we talked about that one. Oh, RCF. They launched a new series of speakers. Also, they have the KW series of speakers now. It's kind of like the TT. It's a higher end speaker system. From everything that I know about it, I didn't get a huge time with it because we had kind of again we were moving right along.
Yep.
But that's another cool thing that's coming out that they're doing. It seems like they're always innovating and doing something a little bit different, bringing out a little bit different line. I really like the fact that they kind of got on the train and they're starting to make things in white for us wedding DJs who like that.
Right.
I know that is my aesthetic that I like to do for weddings. So I'm really glad that they're able to do that. So yeah, there's some stuff there at EV. There's also, oddly enough, there was a couple of good things actually. So it was right next door. A couple of new really cool things coming actually out from JTS.
Oh, I haven't heard that name in a little while because they've
so they're a microphone microphone brand. They actually make a lot of different parts for a lot of different manufacturers. They have a really cool wireless speaker system that they're going to be launching here pretty soon. Kind of like an IEM system, but a little more affordable. It looks pretty cool. We're excited to kind of see how that goes. And then they have another, it's a microphone company. They have another microphone they're working on, which don't know too many details on yet, but again, if they kind of do everything that they want to do with it, it seems really cool. And then, sorry, just thinking about it just because we were microphones. Sure, they have the new SLXD line,
Okay.
and they're actually able to do quad channel in a 1U. So it's I think it'll be kind of a game changer. And the nice part about it is that it doesn't have frequency bands. It is universal. It's 470 to 609. So you don't have to worry about, oh, what part of the country do I live in? Is there going to be it'll do the whole spectrum. So we saw that one, and I think that one will be really, really cool too.
So is it? And you said it was a single space or half space?
So it's a 1U.
Okay, so it'll be
so normally space. You have two side by side and you get two channels. Well, in those, it's all one unit, but you get 4 channels. So it's kind of some of the stuff that they have in their ULXD line
nice.
and everything higher up, but they're just kind of bringing it down and to get more affordable. I don't know if Shure would ever say this, but I think it's kind of their answer to the EWDX series from Sennheiser. That one came out, and you can have in a half rack you can get 2 channels.
Yeah.
And again, they're kind of expensive. But the Shure again, we have pricing on those now. So if you're looking to get some, give us a holler. We can get you a quote on them. They're pretty reasonably priced for what you get. So I'm excited to see how well those take off, because they also have a lot of internal like antenna switching and everything in between. So they should, again, if everything works exactly how they pitch it, I think it'll be a big thing for a lot of people. Because it's always nice, I don't think you can ever have enough microphones.
Yeah, for surely. That's neat.
Absolutely. Let's see. Who else did I meet with? Where's the next one here? Is there any other things that you saw that you were?
I was wondering. An area in which I expected to hear more from is from Alpha Theta. I didn't hear much from Pioneers, the Pioneer booth or the Alpha Theta.
Yeah.
I was. It didn't get the press releases and such, although they did get a hold of me after the show and said, "Hey, do you want us to send some things up for you guys to do some reviews on?" And it's like, but I didn't see a ton of stuff before the show, but maybe that was just I missed it.
Well, and no, there really wasn't much. They didn't, as far as I know, they didn't launch anything new. There was some revisions to stuff, like they released a couple of the lower end controllers in gold and things like that. With the gold colorway that they do from time to time. But other than that, there really wasn't any big things. They had the AZ just come out, the Groove 6 and all that sort of thing that they launched at the tail end of last year, and those are still really kind of their big things. They didn't launch any new speakers or anything like that. That was one of the booths that we did go to, and we talked to Pioneer. But again, it wasn't anything new, and they might have something on the horizon that they're just kind of keeping close to the vest, and they just didn't want to release it yet or show it off, because that is one of the booths that is quite busy, busy. The whole time. So I don't know if they were just worried if something was there that it might get out before they wanted it to, which is actually obviously always a concern, because they can talk to people like us and we can't do that, but we're business owners aren't the only ones who are there.
There's a lot
so sometimes it just kind of gets out. But as far as I know, they don't have anything going, but they've been doing a lot of other stuff and launches over the last 6 months or something, and I just don't know if they just didn't have anything ready to specifically launch for this show. And that was actually a couple things that we heard from a couple different people. Is like, what, we had kind of a backlog of things to get launched after COVID. I know we're still talking about COVID in 2025. But that was actually something that one of our reps said, is that we had so much stuff to launch coming out of COVID that even up until last year, we were still launching stuff that had been designed and done over COVID, because they're like, the engineers were still at home and they were still working, and they were still coming up with stuff and still bringing stuff to us and still trying to launch products and do all that sort of thing. And obviously the backlog of getting transducers and every, all the electronics and all that sort of thing. So some things just kind of had to wait. And they said, we've launched so much stuff over the last 3 years that we just decided that this year we just weren't even going to. No, we're just going to take a break, let it kind of settle down a little bit, and then hopefully come back and launch some great things next year.
Yeah.
So
I could definitely see that. How about anything in the like DJ booths cases? From some of our trussing and companies like that. Is anything that jumps out at you there?
Yeah. So there was a couple different things that I saw from Odyssey. They're launching a couple of like podium style booths. It's something that they've had before, but they're coming up with a little bit bigger one that can handle like an AZ and things like that. So nice big ones that are collapsible and all that sort of thing that you can do. They look pretty cool. They look very robust, very sturdy, which is really nice. It's something that Odyssey kind of overbuilds everything that they make. Again, which is good because it's good quality stuff.
Yep.
They're the ones who make the cases for the 707M.
Yep.
That case that we designed. Odyssey makes those for us. So they had something like that, and then they have they launched it last year, but I don't think that I saw it last year. It's kind of it's a wraparound facade, but it's got like little video panels on it. It's not fully like you can't just put a high density picture, but it's got all sorts of different color changing and all that sort of thing. So you can do patterns and you can do all that sort of thing, kind of make it go with the music. So that was pretty cool too that I saw there. I didn't see much else as far as DJ podiums or DJ furniture. There could have been something that I just wasn't able to see.
Yeah.
Just because, Kat, she had us run on a pretty tight ship.
Yep.
We had many meetings over 2 days. So we were running around pretty good. But yeah, so that's what I had out there. If we go back to the lighting side, I didn't mention this too, like with the ADJ stuff. The ADJ has a couple of new kind of eye candy lights coming out. I forget the name of the series, and I should have had that up. I'm gonna be a silly kid and do that right now, sitting here while we're waiting to do that with everybody. Oh yeah. So another thing that they have coming out is they actually have a video panel that can kind of flex. And it only takes, I think they said it only takes, is it 4 or 6 panels to make a complete circle? And they're not very big because they can really bend in and do a lot. So again, that was something that was pretty cool too. People always doing more and more stuff in the space of video walls and all that sort of thing. They're getting extremely popular. It's called the Vintage Bar.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see that on ADJ's website there.
Yep, I'm right here. Yes.
If you want to pop that up for people.
Well, it doesn't work for me to put it up. I'm going to put it. You guys can check it out. I'll put it in the.
Yeah, perfect.
I'll put it in the chat so you guys can go and check that out on a different window.
Yeah, they have a couple different things in there. So they have the Vintage Bar and they have the Vintage X, which is kind of like a hexagonal thing. It's kind of, they're trying to do kind of a throwback to like a little bit of a retro looking like light for your house, that you'd have in there. They're pretty cool. They're pretty bright too. And so those were something else new that they launched. And then, if you're looking for any sort of like blinder, there's the Hex Panel IP, which is crazy bright. I think it's 40 of them, and I think they're 3 watt. Yeah.
40 high performance, 20 watt?
No, for 20 watts. Yeah.
And there's 6 in 1.
There's 40, 20 watts. Yeah. It's pretty bright.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for something to really fill a room, get a couple of them bad boys. It shows 19,590 lumens.
Okay, just the power consumption of that it's saying that the max power consumption is over 500 watts of power.
Yeah, for an LED fixture.
That's some serious. That's sun tanning.
Yeah, and it is a metal housing too. So it's a well made. And as you can see on a couple of things, they have a little diffusion panel that you can put over it if you kind of want to blend it a little bit better. So I mean, there's definitely some things in the lights that still people are still coming out with, still having new things, obviously. And it just kind of depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah.
A lot of things are stuff that people have kind of done before, but they're kind of refining it and updating it with things like, like this hex panel, it has lime instead of actual white. And so, which oddly enough, you can actually make a better white with lime than you can with the true white. So, there's a lot of stuff that's, again, coming down from, we talked last week, high-end fixtures that's coming down into very reasonably priced things that we can get to everybody.
Yeah.
So
excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm trying to think of anything else that we saw that was just super cool and wanted to keep talking about.
What was your, as far as what did you see that surprised you? As far as you're like, wow, that wasn't even on my radar, and that was pretty cool. Even if it was outside of DJ things.
Yeah. So one thing that kind of caught my eye, it was a thing I can't for the life of me think of the name of it. It's like Audio Q or something like that. Basically, they're trying to do, and I think DJ Mojo did a video on it. I saw it. It was right next to the RCF booth, so I noticed it. They're trying to do sound over electrical wires.
Okay.
So instead of having to, like, if you wanted to do a remote speaker, instead of having to do a wireless system or a thing like that, you could actually just plug it in, and it goes into a little proprietary box that they have on both ends. And then you can run all of your audio signal through the wiring of the building.
Nice.
I've heard of it just because you could do like Ethernet. You can do internet over that.
Yep.
I actually use it at my house because I don't have Ethernet wires all over my house. So I actually use that the power Ethernet over power. So I think it'll be interesting. I don't know that I would ever use it, but again, it's that technology moves ever forward, and if there's something cool that somebody can figure out how to do, it's just net positive for everybody.
Yeah.
Because if they really can get that to a place where it is just like, oh no, it works just like an XLR cable, which I don't know if they'll be able to get it that good. But if it isn't, we can be like, you know what, it's no problem to set up 7 speakers around the room and have them all hardwired essentially.
Oh yeah.
Without having to, run 6 miles of gaff tape and run up and over doors or under doors or, past the cake table, all that kind of stuff. If we don't have to do that sort of thing, that's awesome. And it can make our job a lot easier. I don't think it'll be cheap. But again, it was just like, that's really interesting. I love that people think about that sort of thing.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. How, again, solving problems, how can I? Well,
yeah, exactly.
They ran telephones over that technology a number of years ago. Let's see if we can
for years and years and years.
Yeah, exactly.
They ran all that. So again, it's like, you know what? Hey, we're finding a new use for something that is already there. It's already in every single wall that you're in. So why not figure out how to use it?
Yeah.
So again, I think that's really cool. Did you have like a favorite thing that you heard that was kind of set out, or
nothing that really jumped out at me? You see a couple of teasers here or there, but there was nothing that it looked like there was some neat stuff released, but it isn't like it was 10 years ago where it seemed like everybody had 5 things, 10 things.
Yeah,
that you're not seeing that. And I think that just makes some of us old guys that have been there for many years. It's just like, it's not like it was in the good old days. Technically, there could have been 10 things released, but only 2 of them were worth a hoot.
Right.
There was that.
Sure.
But so it's NAMM is just such a cool experience just to go and to be able to see a few new things, to find those weird hidden things like you just were talking about. The audio over electrical lines, things be like, oh wow, that's cool. Some of the little connections that we found and the little Velcro-y straps that we found at and this little clips to put on your speaker poles. I mean, those were all weird things we found at NAMM. And
oh yeah, for sure. And that's, I kind of wish that we would have had, like, because again, we were just jam-packed with meetings, so we couldn't just wander. But that is something that maybe I'll talk to Kat about next year. Is, you know what? Can we build in just one more day and not have any meetings and just kind of wander and find what we find?
Yeah, because there's so much there.
Because we're walking past so many different things, just being like, oh man, I kind of wish, I could stop. Well, I don't really have time. I got to go to the next meeting. Oh yeah, that'd be cool to stop at. Like going to that. I really would have liked to stop at that booth to talk about the power, the audio over power lines, but I just didn't have time between going to the different meetings and things.
Everything you're doing.
So it was pretty cool. It's a really fun experience, like you said. I think my highlight was probably, and I know it's super boring, and I'll set the next internet ablaze with speaker talk. But it really was the 70s and the 90s. And I think more the 90, just because it's a brand new something in that space. It's a column array with an 18. Everybody else, a couple others had done 15s before. The Maui 44, the Evox 12, all that sort of thing. So that, not that it's been done before isn't okay, like the QSC one we were talking about earlier, but being able to do that with the 18 and just kind of like, okay, well, we're going to push to the next thing and see this is the next thing that we can do. Because then I think the best part about it is now QSC and RCF and LD and everybody else is going to go back and be like, oh, okay, they did an 18. Okay, well, what can we do then?
Yeah.
Again, it's just
pushing
next up mentality, figuring out what's the next awesome thing that we can get out that everybody's going to want to get. So
yeah, exactly. And that really ends up in the long run, just helping those of us who are end users because of that technology increasing as we go.
Yeah, absolutely. And, and that's the other thing. It continues to give us great things, not only to talk about on awesome shows like this, but also it gives us opportunity to get things at lower prices. Again, if it wasn't for people wanting to get out there and see all these things and do all this, there would be no reason for ADJ and Chauvet and things to put line in fixtures. There wouldn't be any reason. It costs more. It's a harder technology to do, but the demand is there. And so because the demand's there, they're bringing it down, and it just makes us, even better. So
that it does.
It's great.
That it does. Links for pretty much all of the social media elements from NLFX Pro. I put those into the chat. You guys can go check out some of those as they drop videos. I didn't see any videos dropped yet, Kyle. So you guys must be getting ready to drop some of the stuff. So
for sure.
Yeah. So they're
we'll get them up there.
Instagram, Facebook, the YouTube channel. They're all in the chat there, so you guys can go and check those out and take it from there. So up next in about 20 minutes, the guys are going to be in the chill room, djntv.com/chill. You can bounce out there. It's the Tuesday night music chat night where they basically get there and everyone's talking music and having some fun with that. So it's always a good night to hang out there. It's a Zoom meeting, so you guys head out there and have some fun with that. Kyle, thank you very much for the insight and the recap of the show. I appreciate your going and living through you vicariously.
Absolutely. Always happy to be on here, John. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks everybody for watching, and hope you all have a great night.
Yep. Good night, everybody.